We asked you, which game are you more excited for? Lost Records, Bloom and Rage, or Life is Strange Double Exposure? So Don't Nod and Deck 9, they step on each other's toes a lot, and they've done the same this year, where we had the announcement for Lost Records, Bloom and Rage, we're all excited for the trailers, but out of nowhere, Max Caulfield rocks back up, says, hold my beer, I'm coming in first, slaps a release date on, and bullies Lost Records back to 2025. So we asked you guys, which game you're more excited for? And Jack, I'll leave it to you to read out the results.
Yeah, so there's been 238 votes, and thank you to each and every one of you that have voted on this poll. And Lost Records got 37%, and Life is Strange Double Exposure therefore got 63%, which, to be honest, mate, I'm really surprised about. I don't know about you.
I expected it because Life is Strange is like the devil, you know, if you will. Like, loads of people were excited to see Max back. Life is Strange, the 2015 game, is a game that touched so many people. Like, you know, it had a massive impact, and it's got a massive fan base. What was an indie game has turned out to be a mammoth brand. So yeah, like, kind of knew it would win. About that score actually. But you know what? I'm happy it's not a landslide. I'm happy there's people in there, 37% of these 238 votes, that have said that they'd rather see Lost Records. But, mate, I want to take the question to you. Did you vote, and which game are you more excited for?
I did, and I voted for Lost Records Bloom and Rage. Maybe it's because, you know, I've had more time for it to stew on the fact that, you know, Lost Records, because initially I wasn't actually that excited, but actually as more stuff has been revealed about it, I've got progressively more excited over time. Whereas obviously Double Exposure has just been sort of dropped out of nowhere, and, you know, they're going very much... I think it's the motivation for me, actually, like thinking on it, is that fresh franchise, you know, obviously you can tell there's Life is Strange elements, but it's going to become an anthology, and, you know, they're going off in their own direction. Don't Nod. Life is Strange, it's like, it's almost like Deck 9 is scrambling. They're like, oh, you know, we need to have a really big game here. Let's just use a formula that we know's worked with Max and, you know, create a game out of it. Fucking hell, my voice. So yeah, like, I think that's perhaps it for me, is that it's on to pastures new, and I'm really looking forward to what Don't Nod are going to offer in this new game, mate.
Yeah, I have to agree. I also voted for Lost Records. I'm a bit of like a junkie for nostalgia as it is. And not to say, like, you know, I grew up in the 90s, because I was 5 by the time 2000 hit. But, like, I don't know, like, that whole vibe of, like, 90s music, 90s show, like, the fashion, everything about it, like, the camcorder style. I've just looked at these trailers, and I'm just sold. I want to know everything about these characters. I want to know everything about Velvet Cove. I'm so excited to get stuck in. Life is Strange Double Exposure, I have my hesitations. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm so excited to see Max again, but I kind of retain, mate, that I don't think this game needed to happen. You know, like, we see it with all this stuff, like, I don't know, like, whether it's the Hunger Games, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, where you've got this winning formula that's really popular, and then it's almost just a cash cow, and they'll just make any kind of spin-off, any extra, like, sequel, prequel, just to really, like, milk the money out of the brand. And don't get me wrong, I think it's a smart move. It's Max grown up. They're not trying to, like, repeat, like, the same code completely. It's her grown up in a setting, and it looks like there's a bit of a murder mystery and her powers changed. I think that is the correct call, but despite the fact that it is the correct call, I still don't think this game should have been made, and the game could land flat. Not to say Lost Records won't either, but I just have to admit, mate, that I think Lost Records will be the better game, because there's no bar to beat, there's no expectations. It can really go in and do its own thing and just, you know, knock us out our socks and really blow us away, because it's such a silent assassin, an unknown force, if you will. So yeah, I think Lost Records, mate.
It's interesting that you bring up nostalgia, because you're so right, is that nostalgia is definitely going to pull people from Life is Strange into, you know, season 1 into Double Exposure. But then it's almost as soon as the game's out, that nostalgia then becomes the enemy, because Life is Strange season 1, it's so embedded like at the time it was sort of a bit of an indie game, and people maybe felt a little bit sort of off trend, like playing this game, and then obviously it's blown up into this big game that is now very popular. And you're fighting against that, so that the game would have pretty high expectations in order for it to, to win fans over. So, yeah, I completely get that, mate, and I'm back in Bloom and Rage, and that's the one I'm more looking forward to as well, just to play full stop, rather than what I think will necessarily sell the best too.
And the other thing I have to mention, mate, is that we have 2 different game studios developing these games. Lost Records Bloom and Rage will be by Don't Nod, which is quite funny, right? Because they created Life is Strange, made the first game and the second game, and then sold the rights to Square Enix, who get, Deck 9 to make the games now. So it's weird. It's almost like, I don't know how to kind of like make an analogy out of this, but it's almost like they've created something and now they have to go against it, which is just a really interesting story, to be honest. But when I look at Don't Nod versus Deck 9, they're very similar. They kind of tread the same waters. But I look at the library of games, mate, that they have previously done. Now, Don't Nod have given us Life is Strange 1 and 2, Captain Spirit, games that we've played that we'll know are Tell Me Why and Twin Mirror. Now, when we look over to Deck 9, I mean, they used to be called Idle Minds, and they've been on the map forever since the PS1 days. There's a lot of games here that I haven't really played. They've done, like, Ratchet and Clank games, Madagascar, a game called Cool Borders 2001. A lot of it I never really played. But since they've become Deck 9, and they have kind of gone for this style of game, they did Before the Storm, True Colors. They did the remastered. Now, in my opinion, the remastered graphics actually look worse. So that's something telling of Deck 9. They're doing Double Exposure, but they were responsible, mate, for Telltale Expanse. Now, I think we have to mention it, but when I kind of said those library of games there, are you with me here saying that you'd rather have the Don't Nod bunch over the Deck 9 lot?
Oh, 100%. 100%. I mean, even if you compare them up against one another, like Life is Strange Season 1 against Before the Storm, Season 1 takes it. Even Tell Me Why and Twin Mirror, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not like the biggest champion of Tell Me Why, but I'll take it over the Expanse. I'll tell you that for sure. And then on top of that, I've not played the Adventures of Captain Spirit, but do you know what I mean? I maybe would get something out of that more than just other things that Deck 9 have done. So, yeah, unfortunately, they sort of fall on the sword on that sort of aspect as well. So, I don't know, I guess I lean more to Don't Nod.
Nah, fair play, man. I mean, we've got a bunch of people who've commented on which one they prefer, mate. Now, we'll start with some of the Lost Records ones, because, like, a lot of people back what we say. They're in the minority with us. I'm going to cherry pick some. We're not going to reach all of them. Very sorry if you did leave a comment and we're not going to cover it. So firstly, I'm going to pick this one by Devin Walters 8769. So they say, honestly, it would be Lost Records because of the new setting and characters and the fact that this is the original team of LIS1. They're doing their own thing and able to completely make off their vision without any publisher making them put things they had never planned for the game. I'm looking forward to Double Exposure too, though. And that is something that is true. I wonder if, like, Square Enix are, like, proper, like, so far up, like, Deck 9's ass that they're, like, scrambling them to, like, release dates, earlier than they should. And maybe the product's, like, not going to be as good as, like, we want. Maybe that's why Expanse flopped in the past, because, the publisher was rushing them. We have heard so many stories of this happening in gaming history. And maybe Lost Records just has the creative freedom, mate, just to breathe and be its own thing. And I do think it is a bit of a kind of a revenge tour for Don't Nod, if you will. I think Don't Nod are going to kind of prove, okay, we lost Life is Strange. We can't do anything with that. So we're going to make something bigger and better. And I think Don't Nod, if they knock it out the park here, they're going to absolutely teach Deck 9 a lesson. And you know what? I'm kind of predicting it's going to happen.
You think as well, and that's the thing, like, it's what we was coming back to before, is that they're embarking on something new, something exciting, and you do get the feeling that Deck 9 are sort of scrambling. They're like, oh, let's just play on the nostalgia of people from Max in Season 1, and try and hope that gets everybody back on board. And I think a few people in the comments here are saying that as well. I think, KS says this sort of here is that Defo Lost Records. I mean, these are the original devs for our lovely Max. Honestly, Life is Strange seems to be becoming more of a brand as of late, moving away from what I fell in love with the game for immersive environments. I was sad that in True Colours I felt so closed in my environment. I'm confident Bloom and Rage will provide that nostalgic gamer vibe for me. Still bought the $80 Life is Strange because I grew up in it. I'm a true fan and hoping for the best and love, Max. Don't have to hope for Lost Records, lol. I know it's going to be fire. Oh my god, this is too long. Don't worry about it. We love the long comments. They're really good to read. We just appreciate that you've sent it in. And yeah, I totally get what you mean. Like, it's not that I'm absolutely against Life is Strange. You know, I'm sort of looking forward to that as well. But yeah, there is just something new and refreshing about Bloom and Rage. And yeah, I think that's sort of similar to what I was mentioning earlier.
Yeah, I love everything about this comment. Thank you for sending it in, KS. And yeah, like, it's interesting you mentioned the price tag. Little plug, but yeah, look at our like playlist, you know, which will be kind of on our channel, because we do sort of mention, is Ultimate Edition a scam? I remember paying like $5 for one Life is Strange episode, and now it's like this monumental 80 quid price tag for the entire thing. It's massively steep, and I get business is business, but I agree, Life is Strange does feel like it is becoming a bit of a brand. And I've not played True Colours, but with the other games, they feel like they get worse and worse over time. And it's sad. I love Life is Strange so much, but I somewhat think that I'm just watching this beloved product deteriorate in front of my eyes. And I've almost got no reason to believe that Double Exposure is going to be... I don't think it's going to be better. I feel like it's going to be another downgrade, which is unfortunate. And it would be cool to see Max again, but yeah, I can't see it going well. I don't know why. And we're going to take one more Lost Records favoured comment, and we've picked Liz Draconis, or Life is Strange Draconis, maybe. But funnily enough, you've picked Lost Records. I'm not a Deck 9 fan anymore. I'm one of the very few who does not like that Max is back. Don't worry about it, I'm kind of sharing the same sentiment. They did not very good with BTS and TC, and I'll never forget the various side-by-side showcases of the remaster. Adding the outrageous price tag, sorry but no. Like I said, yeah, we have covered the price tag, but I get what you mean, not being a Deck 9 fan anymore. The games have deteriorated. We've done a massive playlist on why we hated The Expanse. I had to play it on the channel when it was grim, and I want, you know, that time back I lost playing that game, and the money while I'm at it as well. But something you mentioned about not being a Deck 9 fan anymore, I do think we have to kind of bring, you know, to the attention to this video, the fact that there were all those allegations, you know, and we keep bringing it up, but if it is true, there's this whole kind of school of thought to think, can we separate the art from the artist? Should we boycott Deck 9? Some of the allegations were absolutely terrible, like things like racism, homophobia, sexism, grooming, sexual assault and stuff. And I just don't know if I want to pick up a game and kind of support that kind of environment. I'm hoping that it has changed. The spotlight being on it will see them change their ways. But I think it's a good point, and if that stuff's true, I don't really want to be a Deck 9 fan anymore either.
And now we're going to bring it back, because we noticed that, and you know what, actually, before I do move on to this comment, I find it actually very interesting how, like, Lost Records clearly lost the poll, but actually in the comments it's overwhelmingly in favour of Lost Records. So like there's this sort of a silent majority that is not really speaking up for Life is Strange. But we do have one here. So it says, I chose Life is Strange Double Exposure, but I'm also excited for the next season of the Dark Pictures anthology. No, you guys are so underrated. Love your analysis and theory videos. Legend, you are a legend. Aptly named. But yeah, like, that's completely fair. Like, and I think really, when you consider this debate, I feel like it's almost, if you're a Life is Strange fan, maybe it sort of really hinges on what your view of the whole series is. I feel like if you're someone that thinks that, oh yeah, it started off strong and then over the course of time it's just got progressively worse and worse, you're perhaps more looking at the likes of Lost Records, because you then trust Don't Nod because they did season 1, and you know, maybe you're just against Before the Storm and, you know, the True Colours. Whereas obviously if you're someone that's very nostalgic, you're sort of very sort of heavy on that season one, you're perhaps gonna lean, you know, to double exposure because you have invested in the characters such as Max. It's again a murder mystery. It's really sort of like bringing all of those elements back and including a potential return of Chloe as well. So yeah, thank you very much, Legend, for that comment.
And one more I'm going to take here that does side with double exposure is Arcadia Stormchaser, who says, no doubt in my mind, Life is Strange double exposure easily. Max is easily my favourite video game character, and I really haven't liked anything from Don't Nod other than Life is Strange Season 1. And that is fair. Like, I'm a massive Life is Strange fan myself. I love Max as a character. Such a blast from the past, and I had a lot of fun playing as her, in the first game. And you know what? It doesn't matter how much I'm skeptical of Deck 9, and it doesn't matter how much I think Lost Records is going to be the better game. That is just a prediction. I could be completely wrong. Lost Records could fall flat. Double Exposure could be the best game. It could take us all by surprise. You know, you never know. It could happen. But there's just nothing that can take me away from the fact that when I do play the game, I'm going to fire it up. I'm going to be seeing Max Caulfield. I'm going to be in third-person view behind that kind of iconic bob haircut with the yellow beanie she's got sporting, and I just know that the hairs on the back of my neck will stand up because I'm going to feel all that nostalgia come back to me, and it will be like a shot of adrenaline in the heart. But I can't shy away from that fact. So you might be right, Arcadia, and if that's the same reason you have as me, then yeah, I get why you've picked Life is Strange double exposure. It was a really close call for me. I just had to go with Lost Records.
And finally, we've got a comment here from Fleecy who says, neither Directive 2088. I'm telling you now, it does feel like it will be 2088 before this game gets released.